Welcome everybody to this week's KubeVirt community meeting. Hope you're all having a lovely day. If you could please write your name in the attendees here. That would be very helpful. I'm going to paste the agenda doc into chat. Okie dokie. Do we have anyone today who is new to this meeting or has been to this meeting before and hasn't introduced themselves? If you are, then you're welcome to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I can go first. So this is my first time attending this meeting. I'm a new member of the network team. I just joined on Monday. So nice to meet everyone. My name is Ananya, sorry.
Welcome.
Not really new, but my name's Alan Caldelas. I recently stepped in to help out with SEV SMP for confidential compute. Just happy to be here.
And welcome, Alan. Even though, I think I've seen you a couple of times now. All right, we're going to check in with the schedule. I think it is 3 weeks until code freeze. More on that later. Where are we? What did I say today was? June 4th. Yeah, so June 25th, which 3 weeks time, we'll have code freeze. Also, I want to start planning the on-conference date for 1.7. It's likely going to be falling in a month's time. So July 1st or 2nd, or 8th or 9th. Can anyone think of any reasons why one is better than the other? I'll flip a coin then. If you do think of something, please ping me. I hope to send some notifications out about that later this week. And upcoming events. So KubeCon Cloud Native Con North America in November this year. The co-located event CEFPs are still open for another few weeks, as is the Maintainer Summit CFP. So you can see the dates there. We have some upcoming talks. I've got these around the wrong way, but next week there's a whole bunch of talks happening at DevConf in Brno. And then the following week, we're giving the Maintainer talk at KubeCon Cloud Native Con Japan. So all the links are there. If you're nearby or interested in following up them, usually the recordings are posted within a few days. Okay, so please feel free to add anything to the agenda, or if you've got pull requests or bugs that you find need attention, please add them to there. If you find that you can't edit this document, if you go up to the top, you'll see that you need to become a member of the KubeVirt Dev Google group. Once you do that, you'll have full editing rights of this and any other KubeVirt document for any meeting agendas. So the confidential computing working group, I use that term loosely because we just met for the first time yesterday. Is anyone who was here for that meeting? Unsurprisingly, a lot of it went over my head. Is anyone here able to give us a quick, 20-second debrief?
What we did essentially is we kicked off the conversation of the different technologies and their requirements, and mainly thinking how we can struct this all to a clean API that wouldn't be different for every technology. I have to say that I was very surprised, for the good part, from the amount of participants and from the amount of different companies that they work for. So I think it was a very, very fruitful meeting, and it's great that we have this working group and waiting to see more of those. So thank you for everyone who attended.
Yeah, and we just to build on that, so I think we had representatives from Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, Google, Red Hat. I think I captured everyone. So yeah, it was widely represented. They, I
AMD
believe,
and ARM. Yeah.
Yep. Thought I said them, but yeah, we'll say them again. And Vladik is putting together a spreadsheet to capture the different needs of those to find commonality. So that's going to be, I think, something that we talk about at the next meeting. That's going to be in 2 weeks' time on June 17th. I've got the calendar entry there. If you go click on the meeting notes, the recording entry is still blank, but after this meeting, and give me about 10 minutes, it should have been processed on YouTube. So I can put the link there for anyone interested in catching up on what was talked about. So for while we get started, we're going to meet every 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes as we head into Northern Hemisphere summer. But that's the plan anyway. So with code freeze in 3 weeks. Oh, did anyone have any questions regarding that before we move on? Okay. With code freeze in 3 weeks, I think it's worth jumping into the VEP project board. I think especially as this is the first time that we're going through this. So we've got a few that are complete. I know that the different SIGs go through this in their own groups, and I'm happy to let them do that. But I guess while we're here all together, this is probably an opportunity for people to jump out and say, hey, I need attention on this, or here's the reason why, I'm expecting this to get done on X date and not today.
And we need to create a tracker for next release. I was trying to do it, but didn't get to it yet.
Right, for all of the enhancements that have been accepted after the previous acceptance deadline.
Or just those that are, has been filed after the deadline. These are not tracked anywhere. So.
Right.
On that note, I have a PR that labels VEPs that are that has been accepted. So basically, that we will know that certain PRs are in priority, and it labels it with the approved VEP label. And now the PR is trying to adjust the current behavior to take this information, whether the VEP was approved or not, from the tracker. So I'll put the if I'll find it, I'll put the link. So it needs a review, so that's the reason why I'm asking.
Yeah. Do you want to put that in the PRs that need a review section, and we can hit it once we hit that?
Right. Thank you.
Awesome. And sorry, I just realized that I've only been sharing the one tab, so I've been dancing around following links, but everyone's just been sharing the community notes. So sorry about that. And one thing I just wanted to, I guess, reiterate regarding this process is that these getting into 1.6 is, as I understand it, an agreement from the community that if the work is done on time, it will be the community do its best to review it so that it can be merged ahead of the code freeze. That is not a guarantee that if it's all done at the last minute, or if there's not adequate time for review, then there's no guarantee that it will make it. There's no necessary exceptions being made just because the enhancements the proposals were approved before the deadline. Does that make sense?
Yep, sounds great.
Cool. Okay, okay. So we will, if no one has anything to add to the open floor, we'll move ahead and look at some of these PRs. This comes from, I guess, earlier in the week. I don't think.
Andrew, you're still on the VIP enhancement tracking.
Thank you, Brian. And I just see that Ed has responded to this. Hopefully I've managed to move. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, looks good.
Conceptually problematic. So yeah, if anyone else wants to weigh in on configuring kubelet root host path via the KubeVirt CR, please do.
Yeah, I think it's a bit problematic. Yeah, I'll respond.
Thank you. All right, that should be better. So this is the PR that Vladek was talking about earlier. Since he talked about it earlier, I don't see any point in talking about it again. Is anyone able to take a look at this for Vladek?
Yeah, and it's not urgent because I mean, right now we have another mechanism that labels web associated PRs that has been approved. This will be mainly urgent for the next release when we will have more than one tracker.
Yeah, sure, I'll have a look.
Thank you, Mike. Did you want me to CC you on that?
It's okay. I'll bug him.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't tell if there's some serious lag on my end or on Itamaz. Alan, I can see you've raised your hand.
Hi, yeah. So, like I mentioned, I'm taking over for the SEV SMP. I have a draft PR. Would I add this to this list here, or should I wait until I actually open the PR?
I think you also need a VEP, right? So you need a design proposal for this.
Oh, first? Okay, got it.
I think this can be done in parallel, but in general, we need the design proposal. So you know.
Yeah, I'll be doing that today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say that if you've got the draft PR already, I would post that as well as the enhancement, so that the folks reviewing the enhancement have something else to look at. And in general, I think it's if you've got a draft PR and it would benefit from a review, then by all means bring it here and we can take a look and we can get someone to get some eyes onto it before you want to graduate it to a proper PR.
Okay. I think I am gonna do that. I just need to go get it.
Okay. So, Harshit, did you want to talk to this really quickly?
Sure.
Well.
So when we use the Docker CRI for spinning up the test cluster, the kubectl binary and the kubeconfig do not have correct permissions because the code is checks for the CRI to be podman, and only then it sets the right permissions. I haven't looked at how that came to be, but it was breaking make cluster up for me. So this is the fix that I proposed, wherein for both CRIs, it is going to set executable permissions to kubectl and then 766 for kubeconfig. And there is another PR which got proposed more recently than mine, which does the same thing. So I think multiple people are seeing this problem.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And thank you for the fix.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, we've got an approve here already, so we just need a second approve for that. Is anyone able to take a look at that and get that through? Anyone who's not Jed?
Yeah, sure, I can take a look.
Thank you, Brian. Okay. I think that gets us through there. I couldn't see anything in the mailing list. So if you know of something that I've missed, please shout out. We've got 2 bugs. I should just leave this for the SIG compute folks. Not sure if you can read my screen on this. Maybe that's better. Sidecar. This looks like it very much falls into SIG compute territory.
Hi, yeah, put me in, I will take a look at this.
Thank you, Igor.
Sure.
And I remembered your handle this time. And one more bug. I think this is the one that he has an argument with, well, not an argument, but discussion with Dosubot. So I'd be interested to see from someone who can answer on the subject. How
more
accurate
on this? Because I talked with the person in Slack about it. Basically, they have a 3-cluster or a 3-node cluster, or maybe 4 nodes, where they only have one worker and 1 or more master nodes, and they want to run VMs on the master, and they were unable to do that for all their VMs. You know, they can do it when they specifically add the toleration to a specific VM, and that VM will then run. But they would like you to say, I want to allow all my VMs to run on any of these nodes, and they can't do that because there's no code in KubeVirt that looks at the specific tolerations if you allow it to do the master in the workload section of the KubeVirt CR. And I'm just trying to figure out if that's on purpose or not. And according to the bot, it is on purpose, but I don't believe the bot. So
I tend to agree with the bot, actually. Shall we call it bespoke placement options are kind of out of scope. You do have the power to do it manually, as you just mentioned. So it's not really something KubeVirt concerns itself with.
So I know CDI pretty well, and in CDI we have essentially the same options, and in CDI we actually do allow the workloads to run on the masters if you set the toleration in the workload section. Because to me, the workload, there is a specific infra section and a specific workload section. So if I said in the workload section, I'm tolerating running on the control planes, it should run my VMs on the control plane because I specifically said workloads, which to me means VMs, so can run on the control plane nodes.
I think we should look at the code because maybe in CDI it was fixed or updated.
I looked at the code and the code explicitly does not, it does not add the toleration to the pod template that's generated if that is set. In CDI we do it. So I just want to be consistent. If we say no, we can't do it in KubeVirt, we probably should say no, we can't do it in CDI as well. The thing that's odd to me is that it does put the vert handlers on the control plane nodes. And at that point, I can, put a toleration on my VM specifically, and it will run on the node. It's just, I have to do it for all my VMs explicitly. And it seems very cumbersome. So
I'm going to have to go look, Alexander, but there was a label you could add to the control plane nodes to schedule workloads there, and it just worked as last I checked. So it was like a one-step, always does it for all workloads.
All right. So if you can do that, then maybe put that in here, and that will solve this person's issue, because they essentially just want to run some VMs on their control plane nodes, and right now they have to put the toleration on every VM that they want to run, which seems a little cumbersome to me. So
Isn't the workaround just to remove the toleration? That's what I did on my test clusters.
To remove the taint.
Or just label the node as worker, I think also worked.
I think there's a taint on the control plane, and as long as there's no toleration on the pod, then the pod will not get scheduled there. So I guess you could remove the taints, but aren't those like automatically generated if they're control plane nodes? I forget the details, but
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
There's a way to do it because we have something called the compact cluster where your control plane nodes essentially are your worker nodes.
I think it's like dependent, like this person was using RKA2, right? And I think you can specifically set that, but I don't know if you can do that with upstream vanilla Kubernetes. I know you could do it in OpenShift.
And anyways, that was the source of this issue, is that they wanted to do that, and I looked in the code, and it's specifically not looking or not adding a toleration from the KubeVirt CR in the code that generates the pod templates. Which seemed odd to me, since that's exactly what we do in CDI.
So one thing that they can do is a webhook, right? I mean.
Yeah, we can do a webhook if but it just the whole concept that I have a field in the KubeVirt CR that says put these tolerations on my workload, and then it didn't.
I totally understand. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
And since it wasn't explicitly doing it, I'm assuming there was a good reason for it. So, and that's why I said just open an RFE, and then we can have the discussion, because I don't know the background of all of this. I just looked at the code and I was like, well, it's explicitly not doing it, so maybe there's a good reason for it. So.
Yeah, I don't know the reason.
We're at time, so what I might do is CC Stu under this.
Stu, if you could look up how to make it work for control plane nodes, then that would probably solve their issue.
Yeah, I'm going to walk that back. I'm not 100% sure that what I was thinking of is this, because when you started talking about tolerations, there's like and taints, there's like that's different. That's outside of the scope, because I was talking about labels and node placement that way.
Right, there's explicit taints on these control plane nodes.
I think that's the source of the confusion. Is that's not standard for a vanilla Kubernetes or OpenShift cluster, as far as I know.
Andrew, CC me on this as well. I'll take a look. Thank you.
Because, yeah, I think as Alexander points out, it would be good to have CDI match KubeVirt, whatever KubeVirt's doing. We are at time. We've covered everything we need to cover, so no one's added anything. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. SIG Compute has just started, I believe. It's in the calendar. See you all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.